Have you ever thought about those words that just make you feel very satisfied whenever you say them? Like, I think the word that comes to mind for me is like flabbergast. What a great word. It just has such a nice flow to it. Anyways, hello everybody, this is That Manga Dude, and welcome to another reading log. This is the reading log for November 2024. Sorry, it's a little chilly. I needed to roll back my sleeves down. So, yeah, this is the November 2024 reading log. Yeah, I actually read a pretty decent amount of stuff. A lot of great work just across the board. A lot of volume ones. And, ooh, excuse me, I just ate a lot of Flaming Hot Cheetos. What a mistake. Should never do that before recording. But regardless, we're going to stick it out. We're going to do it. Anyways, let's get started right now. Alrighty, so the first volume that I read in November 2024 is going to be Before Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba from Koyoharu Gotoge. This is the short story collection from, as you could tell, Koyoharu Gotoge, the artist slash mangaka behind Demon Slayer. And yeah, I ended up really enjoying this. I like the different styles that we get in terms of storytelling. Everything just has that kind of creepy tone that you tend to get from Demon Slayer. And definitely very much enjoyed this. I thought this was a really nice short story collection. And obviously if you're a big fan of Gotoge's work, aka Demon Slayer, definitely give this a shot. It's pretty cool. Alright, up next, decided to read the next volume of Welcome to the Ballroom that I had. This is volume 3 from Tomo Takeuchi, and this is such an amazing series. And I really wish someone had told me or pushed me to read this earlier, because it's amazing. The art's gorgeous, the styling is really fun, the writing's great. There's just a lot of very likable characters. Even like the kind of like the jerk characters are like, have some kind of motivation behind them that you're like, ah, I see. You don't have to necessarily like it, but yeah, some just absolutely beautiful art. And if you couldn't tell, I do love things that are focused around dance. I think dance is a really underestimated sport. Yes, I do call it a sport because there are competitions and there is a lot of practice and time taken to become the best of the best. So yeah, Welcome to the Ballroom. Fantastic. Love this volume. Alright, up next, decided to read the Omnibus Volume 1 of Colette Decides to Die from Alto Yukimura. This is the shoujo series that everyone and their mothers has been asking people to check out when it came out. And yes, for good reason, it is great. I already talked about it in my FVI for November of 2024, but to give you a quick synopsis or a quick short TLDR, this was lovely. The art is gorgeous. The characters are awesome. And actually has some really great themes that are tackled in this, especially about like overworking and finding your purpose in life. I think this is just a really, really good series. I loved it quite a bit, so definitely give it a shot. Man, I have the worst hiccups right now, but definitely go give it a shot. It is actually really, really good. Alright, up next, for the Bachi Bros, this is Kagurabachi Volume 1 from Takeru Hokazono. This was the super duper hyped shonen series that's currently releasing in Weekly Shonen Jump, and everyone and their mothers was not shutting up about it, and you know, it was memed to death, and got a bajillion sales. And honestly, after reading the first volume, it's decent. I think it's good in some aspects, but there are some other aspects I'm just not a big fan of. I talked about it in the FBI as well, and yeah, just overall, I don't know if I see the hype just yet. I will be getting the next volume because I did think it was decent enough that it was entertaining, but I wouldn't say that this is like the most mind-blowing, amazing work that a lot of people are making it out to be. So, maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I guess we'll see. Alright, up next, I decided to read Kimi no Todoke Volume 12 from Kaoru Hoshina, and oh man, I love them so much. They're so adorable. They're so cute. Oh man, this couple, please! Oh man, I can't wait to continue reading Kimi no Todoke. This series just continues to impress. I love it so much. It's so cute, it's so adorable, and it makes me cry on the outside and on the inside. Tearful joy, or joyful tears, tearful joy. See, like, I can't even speak correctly. I'm so emotionally tired. But yeah, love this volume, and I cannot wait to continue reading this. Alright, up next, I decided to read Thunder 3 from Yuki Ikeda. This is Volume 1, and I talked about it in the FEI, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was ridiculous. It was fun. In case you don't know what Thunder 3 is about, basically it follows a story about these three kids who live in this kind of cartoonish world, and after borrowing a video game from their teacher, his sister falls into that world, which is the super uber realistic world, and now they must go and try to save his sister. So it's ridiculous. It's super fun. The clashing art styles is hilarious. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of that super realistic art style, that's just a personal gripe of mine. But overall, I thought Thunder 3 was great. Alright, I'm next excited to read the first volume of Undead Unluck from Yoshifumi Tozuka. This is one of the volumes that I talked about in my one of my recent videos where I talked about like series where that people had suggested to me, and I read the first volume, and yeah, Undead Unluck was a lot of fun. Had a good time with it. I thought it was very entertaining. There's some great characters already. I do think that some of the scenes at the beginning are a little bit cringeworthy and can be triggering for some people, so I can totally understand if you're not a big fan of it, but I think there's something there. There's something to enjoy in this series, and I'm definitely excited to keep reading it. This one was for you, Crystal, aka Echo-chan, I think is your name. So thank you so much for your support on this channel, and yeah, I read this for you. Alright, up next, I decided to read the first volume of Maiko 2010. This is from Toshimitsu Shimizu, and yeah, this was an interesting read. As you can see, it's very old school. They printed it in the old format where in an American comic way, and yeah, it's very ridiculous. Basically follows a story about this like android / robot girl here who ends up becoming a radio DJ, and I can't say what she actually is, so you'll have to look that up, but because I'll get attacked on by YouTube's algorithm, so I won't say it out loud. But yeah, it's ridiculous, it's kind of fun, but very much old school, so if you don't like that kind of like old school comedy where everything's a little bit over sexualized, then yeah, definitely stay away from this one. But yeah, I thought it was entertaining enough, so gonna continue reading it. Alright, up next, excited to read Bloom Into You, Volume 1 from Nakatani Neo. This one was amazing. I totally get it. Why people really love this Yuri series. Follows a story about these two girls here who end up like joining, or like end up in the same club, and maybe slowly but surely start to fall in love with one another. Yeah, this one definitely gets me kicking my feet. I like it a lot. I really enjoyed this first volume. I love the characters quite a bit, and I'm very excited to see where their friendship and eventual relationship, I'm assuming, decides to go from here. Alright, up next, decided to read Volume 107 of One Piece from Eiichiro Oda. This was a remarkable volume. Holy moly. Considering how much Wano was starting to weigh down on me and I started to get really bored of it, this volume brought me back into it. This volume was amazing. A lot of really crazy events happened in it. Yeah, it really got my brain munching, trying to remember everything that I've read over these past however many years I've been reading One Piece. It feels like forever, but yeah, this was just an absolutely remarkable volume, and I can't wait to get that next one. I am clamoring for it. I'm not gonna lie, I really want it right now. Alrighty, my next volume that I decided to read was Eden of Witches from Yumeji. This is volume 1. Has an absolutely gorgeous art style. I know, yeah, blah, 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 you can compare it to Witch Hat Atelier, and to an extent, yes, but there are some definitely some differences that really help this pop out as its own style. It's got this super cool, realistic style to it, but also stylized just enough that it just keeps it entertaining. I love the art style. It's so beautiful. The story is also very interesting in itself, where kind of like witches are kind of hiding themselves and trying to stay away from the world, trying to bring back nature in a way because nature has been completely destroyed by humans. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. I liked it a lot. That first volume was very good, and definitely excited to check out the next one. Alright, up next, not a manga, but this is Batman Hush from Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. This was my first true foray into a Batman story, and I loved it. It was really good. I loved how Batman is characterized, and I love like just the writing style is really good. The art style is gorgeous. The colors really pop, and I'm really loving these like DC comic compact comics. They're selling these for $10, and you get a full story. You don't have to buy a bajillion of the volumes or those bigger ones. So these are like perfect for the shelf. They look really nice, and $10, you can't beat that for full color. So absolutely loved this release. Really cool. I've always heard a lot of great stuff about Batman Hush, so I'm really glad that this was my first Batman reading, and definitely excited to keep checking out stuff. I'm probably going to be picking up A Court of Owls next. Alright, up next, excited to read Blitz, Volume 3 from, I almost said Gary Kasparov, which he kind of is associated, but Tsukasa Mori, Cedric Biscay, and Daitaro Nishihara. This is a chess manga following the story about this high schooler who basically becomes super obsessed with chess and is yeah, just trying to win his way through various tournaments and stuff like that. It's it's okay. Like I enjoy it for what it is. It's not gonna blow you away. The art style is mixed in places. Sometimes the translations get a little weird as well. But overall, I thought it was decent, and yeah, excited to continue reading this series. Alright, up next, decided to read the first volume of Ancient Magus Bride or Mage's Bride from Kori Yamazaki. Definitely very much enjoyed this first volume. It was really, really cool. I like the world building. The world building is fantastic. The art style is interesting and great. Just like it a lot. The story, while not like the most like super in-depth thing just yet, I know we're building up to it, but yeah, very much enjoyed this first volume. I could see what the hype was behind this, so gonna be picking up the next couple volumes at some point down the line. Alright, up next, decided to read Ninja Sarutobi Sasuke from Sugi Uda Shigeru. This is just the most absurd thing I think I've ever read. It is ridiculous. It's stupid. It follows a story about this guy here, who's Sasuke, if you couldn't tell, or Sarutobi Sasuke, and it's just about his, like, journey through Japan and various other places. It's stupid. It's hilarious. Like I said, it's just, it'll keep you on your toes, that's for sure. But I love how ridiculous it is, because it's just non-stop ridiculousness. Like, they'll be jumping through space, they'll be getting attacked by cowboys, but I love the art style. It's very simple, it's very fun, but it gets the job done. I just love that a lot, and I really love that there's like an essay at the end that kind of discusses these various stories that was created for Ninja Sarutobi Sasuke. So overall, I liked it quite a bit, and definitely excited to see if we ever get more Sugiura Shigeru stuff in English. Alright, up next, decided to read Kase-san and Bento, which is the second story in the Kase-san series from Hiromi Takashima, and I loved this volume. Oh man, if you want like a more fluffy Yuri, this is lovely and remarkable. I love this couple so much. They're so cute. Oh my gosh! Oh man, the whole like beach scene at the end or towards the end of this volume is just cute and adorable, and I'm screaming inside. I'm sorry. But this was a really great volume. I enjoyed it so much. I wish these volumes were a lot easier to find, but I did pick up the third volume recently, so I'll probably be reading that soon. Alright, up next, decided to read the first volume of Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin Activation from Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, Yoshiyuki Tomino, Hajime Yatate, and Kunio Okawara. Yeah, this was a retelling of the original story, and absolutely loved it. This was really, really good. It's a beautiful release from Vertical. Great color pages. The page content is amazing. The art style is gorgeous. Loved it a lot. Story is already complicated, but very entertaining. I am going to love this space battle opera. I can feel it in my bones. So, loved it a lot, and I cannot wait to continue reading this one. Alright, up next, decided to read the third volume of Sketchy from Maki Hirochi. This is the skateboarding seinen series that I've been reading and enjoying quite a bit, and I love it a lot. I think it has a lot of great little like moments. I think the art style, while not necessarily the best in the world, definitely gets the job done and really displays and shows how great skating can look and be as an art form in itself. Definitely loved it a lot. I love how the characters are all a lot of fun. Honestly, my biggest gripe with it is that it's hard to be able to identify when we are in the past and when we're in the present, because there is no indication, especially with like an art style within the art style, that dictates that, other than the character saying something and then being like, oh, why do they look so different? And it's because, oh, this is the past. Okay, I guess. So that's probably my biggest gripe with it, but overall I still think it's very, very good, and highly suggest checking it out, because I think there's some really great stuff in it. Alright, up next, decided to read Wanted, Eiichiro Oda before One Piece from, if you could not tell, Eiichiro Oda. So these are his short story collection before he started One Piece, and it harkens back to that really fun and silly style that he had toward the beginning of One Piece. So a lot more like ridiculous moments, a lot of silly moments as well. The comedy is top notch. I was laughing at multiple points at various of these short story collections, but loved it a lot. I think I highly suggest checking it out if you like One Piece, or even if you don't. I think it's a lot of fun. Alright, and last but not least for this stack, I read Medalist Volume 5 from Suru Maikata. Unsurprising if you know my track record with this series. We are getting into like the one of like the major beginning tournaments, I would say. And just, oh, it's so good. It's so remarkable. I was shaking in my boots at the end of this one. I cannot wait until the next volume comes out because we are going to get into it. We're going to do it. We're going to get into the part where she is going to do her thing, and I cannot wait. I wish these volumes came out faster, but you know what? I gotta be patient because this series is worth letting it cook. It's amazing. Alright, into the last stack. So next up, I decided to read Sakamoto Days Volume 14 from Yuto Suzuki. Yep, just another fantastic volume. We get to finish up the past arc, and now we're basically back into the present to start off into the new arc, and I'm super excited to get into this new arc. I don't know what it entails, I don't know what's going to happen, but I am beyond excited to see how this series continues to keep growing, because it just, the story gets starts to get more in-depth. I'm loving how we're getting more backstory into Sakamoto himself, and kind of seeing like how we get to meet all these characters later down the line. So overall, I love this volume and cannot wait to read the next one. Alright, up next, I decided to read Gokura Kugai Volume 3 from Yuto Sano. This was another fantastic volume from another amazing series that's all new on stuff like that. We get to finally meet, I'm assuming is the big baddie. For now, I don't know, maybe there will be a bigger baddie, but he's basically the big baddie. We get a pretty intense moment, just right off the bat then the first couple pages of this volume, and I loved it. I think it's a really great series and highly suggest checking it out because yeah, it's a lot of fun. Alright, up next, we got Mashle Volume 17 from Hajime Komoto. We are almost done with the series. This series is almost over, and you can definitely tell because we're getting into like this just big baddie fight. It just continues to be just as stupid and ridiculous as you would expect it to be. Definitely gonna pick up that last volume, and hopefully it's good because yeah, it's been building up, and I'm kind of loving these more intense little moments. I'm glad that comedy is still there, just to break it up a little bit, but yeah, overall this was a very good volume. Alright, up next, decided to read Volumes 2 and 3 of QQ Sweeper from Kyosuke Motomi. And yeah, wow, what a way to cap off the series, at least the first part of the series. And in case you didn't know, there's a sequel series called Queen's Quality, which is the longer version, like the long series after this. Loved it a lot. It's very, very intense, and it's really dark, and I just love that so much. I love how the characters are already kind of being built out. The world building is very strong right from the get-go, and definitely building up a lot for this eventual new series for Queen's Quality, because like there's a big thing that gets dropped at the end of Volume 3 that you're like, oh, I wonder what that means. So I'm really, really excited to continue reading into Queen's Quality, but QQ Sweeper itself for 3 volumes was very, very good. I'd highly suggest checking it out, especially before reading Queen's Quality if you're going to read it. Alright, up next, excited to read the second volume of Nightfall Travelers Leave Only Footprints from Tomohi. Yeah, I read this first volume what feels like a year ago, which it probably was. Basically, it follows the story about these 2 girls here who are exploring their city and trying to find like the ghost stories and the spooky stories and trying to see if any of them are true. So yeah, overall, I love the vibe. I love the art style. It's very interesting. It gives off like a kind of a watercolor vibe, and I love the character designs as well. This has just been a really nice, like, comfy, cozy read, even if it is about like them exploring like supposedly haunted places, but I like it a lot. I think it's really nice, and I love their dynamic as well, so definitely give it a shot if you're looking for kind of like a slice of life spooky story, walking around town, looking at stuff kind of manga. Alright, up next, decided to read After God Volume 1 from Sumi Eno, and this one was another remarkable volume. Super creepy, super fun. Art style is absolutely gorgeous. Basically, it follows the story about this girl who is trying to figure out how her friend disappeared and or died to these gods that have taken over Japan and are currently wreaking havoc. She ends up joining like a organization that is trying to also figure out the way to defeat these gods. So really, really good. I liked it as a first volume, and I'm definitely excited to read the next one. Alright, up next, decided to read the third volume of Hida Yasumi from Keigo Shinzo. Another remarkable volume for another absolutely remarkable series. It is currently in contention for my favorite manga of the year, at least for series that came out this year. I thought that series is just so good, and it hits really, really close to home, especially with our main girl going to art college, which is something that I did, and I've mentioned that quite a bit. But overall, I think there's a lot to glean from this volume, even if it is like a slice of life series. The coming of age moments are great, and I love it a lot. Alright, up next, decided to read Astrobiologist Practice from Sarami. I really should just be looking this before I state that, but like, yeah, I loved this release. This release was really, really good. Absolutely gorgeous. It was really, really fun, but basically it follows a story about these three kids here who live in this oceanside town and are kind of sharing the same dreams with one another about this like person named Practice, who calls himself an astrobiologist and is allegedly one of these three characters is like alter ego ? Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a really fun coming of age story. I love like the kind of like surreal and supernatural moments. I think the art style is really, really good, and I just kind of like the idea of like just trying to pursue your dreams. Kind of aesthetic, or not aesthetic, but like theme that they're going with, and I think it works really well, especially with like kind of like the more ridiculous supernatural moments. So overall, I thought this was a really good release, and yeah, super excited and happy that it came out, and definitely give it a shot. And I think it's really good. Alright, up next. Oh man. Okay, this is volume 11 of Wandance from Coffee. And yeah, I know I talk the crap out of this series. I talk about it all the time. But guys, you just need to know. You need to know. This is one of the first times reading a manga, just in general, where I straight up gasped. There was a moment that was just so, I don't know how to explain it. It was just so filled with emotion. The art was just kind of blew me away. There's something about it. I'm not going to show it because in case people are actually reading Wandance, this volume just completely blew me away. It might have been one of the biggest moments that I've read this year. Just seriously, oh wow, I just did it again. Oh wow, I mean, I was genuinely just, it shook me to my core. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It's a remarkable moment for both the character, but for both the art style. The art style is gorgeous in that one moment. It's done beautifully. It's, oh wow, I can't even say anything, right? I'm speechless. This was just a remarkable volume, and probably the best volume in the series to date. And that's saying a lot because Wandance has a lot of really good volumes. But yeah, this was remarkable. I mean, if you're not reading Wandance at this point, you really, really should. And last but not least, we have ourselves Dark Gathering, Volume 10 from Kenichi Kondo. This is the last volume that I read in November. And yeah, it just continues to be some really good old-fashioned horror action series. I love that like we're getting further and further and getting closer to what feels like a big peak moment. I don't really know like how close we are to like truly like the climax of the story, but we're definitely at the climax of the arc. We're getting very, very close to that. So definitely excited to get to that part, and loving like the really creepy monster designs and stuff like that, so hopefully it just continues that way. And that's going to be it for the reading log for November 2024. What did you like out of everything that I read? Let me know in the comments below. What did you read in the month of November 2024, or whatever month you're watching this in? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all wonderful things, and you're all beautiful people. Yay, you are. And yeah, I hope you have a remarkable day or something, and I will see you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.